Hello my fellow Fujoshis, this is BL Fan Edits and today I'm here to tell you guys about some underrated Korean BL dramas and movies that you might have no idea about. Korean BL scene has recently erupted in the past year and many popular BL series like Mr. Heart, Color Rush and To My Star have captured all our hearts. What you might not know is that Korea has been making BLs on and off for about 15 years or so. So today I'm going to tell you about 15 Korean BL movies that are underrated but amazing. So without further ado, let's get started. One Night Only is a collection of 2 short movies. It came out in the year 2013. The first story is about Han-jae who meets gay men through internet site and cons them of their money. He is often accompanied by his accomplice Hoon. One day, Hoon suddenly kisses Han-jae, confusing the relationship between them. The second story is about Gonhu, who gets hit by a car one night. He is saved by Jun, who was visiting Seoul from a small town. Coincidentally, they also happen to meet at a bar that night, starting a series of events that bring them closer. Night Flight is a story of 3 teenage boys who were once close, grow apart when they reach high school. Youngju is hiding his sexuality while Givung becomes a thug and a high school bully. Gitek is an obsessive manga fan. Tired of constant bullying by the school gang, Gitek reveals that Youngju has loved Givung since childhood. As a result, Youngju becomes the next victim of constant bullying by his high school gang. Will Givung be able to protect him from his own gang, or will Youngju be driven to a calamity? This movie was released in the year 2014. Method movie came out in the year 2017. It's the story about a veteran actor and an idol that are starring together in a play called Unchained. In the play, their characters become involved in a relationship, and as they rehearse, the distance between reality and fiction starts to get blurry. The romance portrayed in this movie is very mature, and although the movie has a dark side to it, the chemistry and sexual tension between the 2 main leads is evident. Cancelled Faces is a black and white film about a young man who makes a fateful encounter with a stranger and passionately falls in love with him. When Onk rides his scooter through the night, he fails to notice a drunk pedestrian, a man called Bose, and hits him. The accident has unforeseen repercussions since shortly afterwards, Onk and Bose start an intense relationship that leads into a gradually worsening dependency. This movie was released in the year 2015. One Summer Night is a BL movie that released in the year 2016. 2 North Korean soldiers, Yongjun and Jaesung, are caught having sex by a superior. After that, Yongjun decides to defect from North Korea and flees to South Korea, leaving Jaesung behind. Yongjun meets Taekyu, a knave boy, and falls in love with him. 2 years later, Jaesung comes to South Korea and meets Yongjun. Now Yongjun must decide between his old flame Jaesung and his new love Taekyu. BL movie As If You Whisper came out in the year 2019. While busking, Bumsu falls for his fan Yeonu and realizes his musical identity. Producer Heejin wants Bumsu to be a successful singer while Bumsu just wants to make music. It is a very sweet and wholesome movie with wonderful casting and awesome music. Seoulmates is a South Korean independent film which is a collaboration between Philippines and South Korea. This movie came out in the year 2014. It stars famous South Korean actor Kim Ji-soo. This film is a romantic comedy that tells the story of a Filipino ladyboy and a Korean discreet gay who meet and date each other, with the first one pretending to be a real woman while the second one pretending to be a straight man. Queer movie Beautiful is about a gay guy who suffers from body image issues, so he starts stealing his good-looking friends' photos to date online. This movie gives a lovely message that one doesn't need to pretend to be someone else to find love. This movie also talks about the role internet plays in perpetuating body image issues among people. G voice is the name of the choir, and for several dozen men in South Korea, it is a source of happiness, inclusion, and well, eye candy. As the choir reaches its 10th anniversary and prepares to play South Korea's first gay wedding, tensions begin to run high. But the choir runs into a score of homophobic obstacles that they must overcome in order to ring in the historical moment. Mi-kyung lives apart from her husband and raises So-yoon, her high school-aged son. One day, So-yoon brings home his friend Young-jun to stay. A few years later, after completing his military service, So-yoon gets into an accident while on a trip with Young-jun and is hospitalized in a critical condition. Soon after, Mi-kyung discovers a secret her son and Young-jun has been keeping from her. White Knight is a film about a homosexual man returning to Korea with unresolved past conflicts. He spends time with a new man. This movie is inspired by an actual case of random street assault by a homophobe in Jongno. Stateless Things follows three young people, a teenage North Korean defector named June who wanders the streets of Seoul, an ethnic Korean living in China, and a gay boy named Ain who exchanges sex for money. These three come together to commit suicide but find meaning in their lives. Two weddings and a funeral. A gay man Min-soo and a lesbian Hyojin are both promising doctors at a general hospital. The colleagues agree to marry so Hyojin can legally adopt a child with her lover of 10 years, So-young. And Min-soo can please his parents while maintaining his closeted lifestyle. While secretly living with their respective partners who move in next door, Min-soo and Hyojin appear to be a happy, normal couple. They enjoy all the benefits afforded to heterosexual couples and are also able to ward off public scrutiny and parental disapproval. However, Min-soo's intrusive parents begin to get a bit too involved with the couple's life, threatening their scheme. This movie is divided into two independent stories. Suddenly Last Summer is about teacher Kyung-hoon who keeps pushing Sang-woo away but Sang-woo keeps coming closer to him. Will Kyung-hoon be able to resist his urge that Sang-woo keeps poking? Going South is a road trip movie about Gi-tae who is going to terminate his military service and his senior Jong-young. Jong-young is driving to their military camp with Gi-tae on his way back to the camp after his last vacation. There is tension between them. When they get to a supermarket just in front of the camp, Gi-tae puts a sleeping pill into Jong-young's coffee. Finally, Gi-tae heads south, taking Jong-young along with him while he is passed out. After a while, Jong-young wakes up and a secret gradually becomes known. Yoon-jae is a teen with family problems and financial difficulties. He moves to a new town and unexpectedly befriends Sejun, a thug both feared and respected by everyone. A bright girl, Yoon-young, constantly tries to get Sejun's attention. Instead, Yoon-jae falls for her. He joins Sejun's sketchy escorting gigs to earn quick cash for his mother's hospital bills. But the more he works, the more suspicious he becomes of Sejun and this job, sensing the inevitable closing in. So these were 15 Korean BLs that you had no idea about. Have you seen any of these movies yet? Let me know in the comments below. And please don't forget to subscribe my channel and ring the bell icon so you never miss a video from me. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.